Hello there, folks. Quiet Emerald here again. This is the third video in my series, and this one will be about my experience playing the indie survival horror game Signalis. Like every game that has been covered in this series, majority of the footage will be taken from my VODs, and if you want to watch the VODs in their entirety, you can always watch them on my other YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's get into the leek and potatoes of it. I have been following this game for some time before it launched, and when the launch finally snuck up on me, I did not hesitate in purchasing it. I saw the style of the game and the gameplay and immediately knew this was going to be a good game, and I was proved correct when I finally got to play it. It did not take long for the game's setting to draw me in, and once it did, I was hooked. From the artistic pixelated style of the graphics to the hauntingly beautiful soundtrack, I was immersed entirely. I even found myself staring at the menu for some time before stream, just letting the atmosphere and ambience fill my hamster-sized ears. Everything about this game is vague and strange, and I think that is a strength. I know a lot of folk would find that to be frustrating, especially in the age of AAAs where they spoon feed you the story, but I find it to be a welcome sight. I love having the lore delivered in small pieces of letters around the environment. I could honestly talk about this game more in depth, but for the sake of time, I will focus on the points of what I want to cover. The game takes place on what I presume to be a mining station on a strange planet. The main character is a replica named Elster. From what I gather, a replica is an artificially made humanoid, kinda like a replicant from Blade Runner. What is interesting is that throughout your journey, you begin to notice that all the replicas are made in a similar image, at least facially. Body-wise, some are frailer and others are much stronger, but all share the same face. Even the monsters you face in the game were once replicas, and serve as a reminder that they too were once like you, before being twisted into a walking horror. Upon playing the game, I noticed a lot of references to older survival horror games. The save system has a red screen that is similar to Silent Hill's save style, and it takes inspiration from the classic Resident Evil item box as well as the inventory system. This isn't a bad thing. A lot of folks always say it's a ripoff or unoriginal, but if a system works and it can be built up in an original way, then I say do it, because it is clearly done right here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and add cup holders onto it, am I right? The story is very intricate. It is told through the few characters you meet along the way, and the various diary entries that are found throughout the game. There are also a number of posters found throughout the facility that really help with the world building, even though you are confined to this facility, isolated from the rest of society. The game devs do a really good job at building something beyond the horizon of this desolate place. The gameplay is top-down, but utilizes an interesting way of controlling the character. You really feel the weight of the character and the momentum when you are running and moving around enemies. Don't expect to be aiming instantly at monsters. If a monster is behind you, it will take some time to fully turn around to fire. If they're up close, then you'll find you need to bash them away first before shooting again. Once they're downed, it isn't the end. These creatures are hard to kill, and if their remains aren't burned, some will rise again. This can make the monsters a difficult obstacle in areas where you'll be making multiple journeys. This mechanic seems to be influenced from Resident Evil Remake, where if a zombie isn't burned, it'll turn into a crimson head. Speaking of zombies, the enemies come in a few varieties and are quite humanoid looking. Until you descend further, the monsters become less humanoid in appearance and more something straight out of Silent Hill, which I'm all for. There's so much going on in this game, on so many layers, from artistic visuals to themes that are yet to be uncovered. There are many puzzles within the game that require intricate solutions, but are never too hard where you are stumped for too long. Every puzzle feels like the right amount of challenge. The developers did a very good job at capturing the important parts of survival horror, the mixture of combat, item quantities, and puzzles. It all feels fresh and new, yet also familiar and easy to navigate in a good way. I've played a lot of survival horror games, and this one is definitely one of my top favorites. I recommend this game to folks who are big fans of survival horror games, and good indie games in general. In a world where AAA is going down the tubes, and survival horror has been neglected by the bigger companies, it is nice to see indie devs still going out of their way and creating works of art like this. This is a must play. I will probably do another video on this game at some point that is a lot longer, but for now, this is Quiet Emerald. Thanks for watching, take it easy, and see you next time, eh?